council. I don't care what those papers say. This violates the bylaws. You need to move this instant.
You are trespassing
right now.
Blue and red strobes bounced off the wet asphalt, while cold air hit my bare feet and the smell of burnt coffee curled from my mug. At 4:27 a.m., someone pounded the brass lion knocker on the front door of the old stone mansion I bought last year. I opened the side camera feed and saw her, the HOA president everyone calls Karen, phone in one hand, clipboard in the other, yelling about emergency violations and barking into a live video like she was filming a wildlife rescue. My porch lights flooded on. Her voice boomed that I had 48 hours to remove my planters or I'd be fined, towed, and publicly named. That was threat one. It would not be the last. This is where the title of my life showed up. Karen trespassed onto the mansion porch after 48 hours of threats. Too bad I am the landlord. She thought I was a tenant squatting in some rich uncle's house. She kept calling me kid, like I was a stray. I tried speaking low and calm over the wind. Ma'am, this is my property. I'm the owner. She waved the clipboard like a judge's hammer. The violations stack high, she said. Rose bushes measured wrong. Porch lights too bright. Deliveries after hours. It was May 3rd, 2024, and I had a full workday ahead. But the circus had already started. I went to the board that night at 9:00 p.m. in their beige clubhouse that smelled like old carpet and lemon cleaner. I brought the deed, printed in clean black ink. The treasurer stared at his shoes. Two neighbors texted me under the table, "Be careful." The secretary acted like her pen was a sword and said the agenda was closed. Karen smirked like she'd parked on the moon. On their community app, I watched comment after comment disappear. The next morning, I logged the mess. Timeline item 1, April 5 at 4:27 a.m., false trespass call. Timeline item 2, April 19th at 6:10 a.m., false noise complaint. Timeline item 3, May 2 at 11:58 p.m., late night threats. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. I said that simple law line to the room. No one blinked? Fine. My line in the sand arrived. I promised myself to use proper channels only. No shouting, no games. Just facts. I started collecting every drip of proof. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I requested community records, and the file landed with 63 pages. It was like a scrapbook of nonsense. 11 complaints in 2 weeks, all tied to one address, mine, and most filed within 10 minutes of each other. I emailed the city code office with dates and times. I asked the police for a civil standby if needed. I sent the HOA a certified letter that said this, in plain words, "You may not enter my porch without permission." I posted a small sign by the steps. I booked a home inspection for Monday, just to get a fresh report. I set my cameras to push alerts and saved the clips to separate drives. You want smart? I would be boring smart. Then came the payoff. Karen announced a surprise safety walkthrough, meaning her and 2 nervous board members would march onto my property Saturday morning. I said no in writing twice and CC'd the city inspector. At 10:02 a.m., a breeze rattled the ivy, and the inspector's car rolled up to the curb. The officer I'd requested for standby waited by the mailbox, polite and silent. Neighbors slowed their jogs. Phones came out. Karen stomped up anyway, heels clacking like a metronome. She stepped onto the porch, chin high. My doorbell chimed, and the screen flashed a message I'd taped inside the glass. Entry without owner consent is trespass. The officer cleared his throat. "Ma'am, you've been warned." Karen scoffed and said this house isn't yours. That was the moment. I held up a laminated page from the county site with my name in bold and the parcel number. The inspector checked the address, checked the sign, checked the email chain. He nodded. The officer looked at Karen. The porch camera zoomed in and clicked. The street turned into a stage. A kid on a scooter whispered, "Bro, she got caught." The couple from across the way filmed from their balcony laughing into their sleeves. Someone went live, and the chat exploded with popcorn emojis. One neighbor said into her phone, "I knew he owned it. He paid cash for the roof in March, $9,400. Karen's clipboard slipped, papers fluttering across my welcome mat like confetti. The board member with the quiet shoes tried to kick a paper under his heel and missed. My binder sat on the porch table like a book report for the universe. The officer asked Karen to step down to the walkway. The inspector read from my letter and the safety code. It was not aggressive. It was calm, clinical, devastating. The cameras caught everything. Then the authority flip landed. The officer wrote a citation for trespass warnings ignored. The inspector flagged the HOA for selective enforcement based on the records I provided. The city clerk emailed that my complaint was accepted and attached a case number. The HOA's own attorney called me that afternoon and asked if we could discuss settlement. I said, "Leave me alone and follow your rules like everyone else." Monday, the board met in an emergency session. They posted a sheepish update with my name spelled correctly for the first time. My favorite line was this: "Moving forward, access to private porches requires express permission by the property owner." There was also a number. The HOA reimburses me $1,200 for the bogus violation fees they'd already tried to add. Justice, but quiet. After that, life went back to the soft sounds I bought this place for. Mourning doves, a distant mower, the warm smell of new mulch. Karen stepped down from the presidency and took a mandatory class on community governance. The board sent a letter of apology that sounded like it was written in a dentist's waiting room, but it named the truth. The neighbors started waving. The couple on the balcony brought over cookies. I hosted a small Porch concert and printed programs with a line on the back that made me grin. Trespassers will be bored to death by paperwork. We laughed, and I slept like a stone for the first time in weeks, knowing the cameras were pointed at the right things and the rules, simple, lawful, plain, were finally being followed. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below